it all night and your life will transform. Have you heard about techniques like these? And I'm telling you, affirmations, vision board, visualization, gratitude, these are brilliant techniques. But they actually work only when you learn the advanced law of attraction secrets and you make them work. Here's an example. What's your most expensive favorite car? Tell me in the chat window, everyone. What is your most expensive favorite car? Mine is Rolls Royce. Now, whatever is your most expensive favorite car, like some of you are saying Mercedes, some of you are saying Ferrari. Oh, wow, Aruna, Ferrari, that's amazing. How many of you? Okay, BMW, that's amazing. Hummer, wow, that's a good car. Range Rover, amazing. Now, whichever is your favorite car, doesn't matter how expensive that car is, doesn't matter how powerful that car is, doesn't matter how powerful that vehicle is. But if it doesn't have fuel, will it work? Tell me in the chat window, everyone. If it doesn't have fuel, if it doesn't have petrol, if it doesn't have diesel, if it doesn't have electricity, if it's an electric car, will it work? No, it'll not work. Why? Because you need the fuel to make it move. The advanced law of attraction is the fuel that makes the affirmations work. Everyone type in fuel in the chat window. It's the advanced law of attraction that is the fuel to make your vision boards work, to make your visualization work, to make your gratitude work. Once I started practicing advanced law of attraction, I started having crazy results in my life. So here's what I decided after that. I said, I'm not going to teach law of attraction to anybody. I'm just going to implement it in my life. And that time I was doing something called as the corporate training business. Everyone type in CT, corporate training. I was doing corporate training. I was not getting business at that time, but the moment I started practicing this fuel called advanced law of attraction, I actually started succeeding in the corporate world. My first assignment I got was for 8,000 rupees per day. 3 months after that, I got my second assignment for 30,000 rupees per day. I'm talking about 20 years ago. 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees per day was a huge deal at that time. How many of you agree with me? Type in yes. If you agree 20 years ago, 30,000 rupees per day was like a huge thing. And magically, in just 1 year, I was making 2 to 3 lakh rupees a month after I started practicing advanced law of attraction. And all I was doing was advanced magic with me and Indu. The amount of business I did, it went crazy. Like these are the amount of corporate companies that I worked with. Like look at the number of companies. Take the name of a company in India, take the name of an industry in India, and I've worked with them. Not bad for a lazy guy. Type in not bad if you agree, not bad for a lazy person who had zero talent. All of this happened because of advanced law of attraction. I'm not the special one here. The real specialty that I got is from all my mentors who helped me understand and master advanced law of attraction. And not just this. Here is what happened. COVID happened. Everyone type in COVID if you remember COVID time. When COVID happened, suddenly the first business that shut down was the training business. Corporates were not working, business completely shut down. And I remember I learned this in advanced law of attraction that if your frequency is right, opportunities will arrive. Everyone write this down. If your frequency is right, opportunities will arise. So I was like, okay, let's continue using advanced law of attraction. And for the first time, I had this idea for the first time. Let's teach this advanced law of attraction to people who are sitting at home doing nothing right now. Let's start doing online programs. And before that, I had never thought of doing that because I was only busy doing corporate workshops. So I started teaching people advanced law of attraction. And believe it or not, the results they came and gave me were absolutely crazy. How many of you here are my advanced law of attraction students already? And you've already got some crazy magical results. Tell me crazy magic in the chat window. If you've actually started, experienced some crazy magic with me in the advanced law of attraction course. And believe it or not, I started introducing this magic to people online, some on YouTube, some on Zoom, some on, different platforms. In just last 3 years, after COVID hit, we so far hit 1 million people whom we've taught law of attraction to. How many of you say not bad? Once again, for a lazy guy. Reaching in 3 years, 1 million people, I had not even imagined that. Like, I didn't even know I could go that far in my life. But it's possible when you actually practice the advanced law of attraction. The best part was, I learned through my mentors, and then I started teaching law of attraction to people, the advanced law of attraction. And based on what I learned from my mentors, I realized one of the biggest reasons people don't get results with law of attraction is because they're simply implementing basic. They taught me 4 levels which I started practicing in my life. And I'll tell you what they are. The first level is basic law of attraction. Do we need to practice that? Yes, of course. Affirmations, visualizations, gratitude, vision board, continue practicing it. But without the fuel, without the advanced L.O.A, it doesn't make that thing work. Like it's like you remain on first step, you won't grow. You got to go to the second step. So I created this advanced law of attraction course, and then I created the money law of attraction course, where it was all about the next level of money. Everyone type in money in the chat window. Simply writing that word has its own vibrations. And then, based on my guidance from my mentors, I created the grand mastery level of law of attraction, where you eventually master all four areas of life. HRCM. Everyone write it in the chat window. HRCM. What is that? Health, relationships, career, and money. And I learned this from my mentor that most people make this mistake, that they only remain at either advanced law of attraction or just money. But what I did with my mentors, I went all the way up to the grand mastery level. And this is what I call in my programs lifetime platinum membership, where we teach people multiple courses of law of attraction, NLP, becoming a trainer, becoming a life coach, writing a best-selling book, relationship mastery. We started teaching all of these things to people who really wanted to master their life. And this is where we invented something called as platinum standards. Everyone type in the chat window, platinum standards, where you live life platinum standards because you deserve it. And believe it or not, we've got so far more than 3,500 advanced L.O.A students, out of which more than 800 people have already become platinum, and most of them have already achieved platinum standards, which I call as, everyone take your hands like this, say 10 years of success in 1 year. That's what we started creating. And believe it or not, because of this, the opportunity that I got, I started working with some of my dream coaches. My dream mentor, John DeMartini. How many of you have been through this program with me, or maybe you've seen this on YouTube when he was with me live? I had tears in my eyes when I saw him first time live, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I had goosebumps when I met him live in Goa for the first time. Whoa, it was an amazing experience. How many of you agree that when you meet someone you really love and you look up to for many, many years, I mean, getting tears in your eyes is just natural, right? So I achieved all of this. Once again, I'm repeating, not because of me, but because of what? Everyone type in the chat window, ALOA, advanced law of attraction. I'm telling you, I was the same lazy guy before learning advanced law of attraction. What transformed me is the advanced stuff, not the basic stuff. I promise you that. And then you'll realize that it's not just me. There are many more people in the world who've actually got these kind of results. Like Einstein spoke about advanced law of attraction, not just basic. You'll see Oprah Winfrey speaks a lot about the techniques of advanced law of attraction, because of which she achieved what she achieved. How many of you know Oprah speaks about law of attraction a lot? Type in yes in the chat window if you've ever heard some of her video, and if you know that Oprah is a huge fan of law of attraction. Jim Carrey, some of you spoke about Jim Carrey earlier. These are people who didn't just use basic, they actually used advanced. But because we didn't know about it, we thought just affirmations can make us have 10 million. Not true, that's a lie. People like Bruce Lee, they actually worked hard to achieve advanced law of attraction. To give you a simple example, everyone take your hands like this, please. Say F, T, B, A. Do it again, and this time say the full form with me. Say feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions.